ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. First of all, offer my millions of obeisances to lotus feet of Asmade Guru Pad Padma, Nityala Prashta Jagat Guru Shishyavan Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Tirendi Swami Shishyavan Bhaktivedanta Dandi Maharaj Nam Nishta Santa Shri Aniruddhas Prabhuji, all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis here gathered here for the online class of Śrīmad Bhagavad-gitā, please accept my humble obeisances. Discussing from chapter 7, text 1, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Saktamana Partha Yogam Yunjanmadashraya Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Jnasasi Tashrunu. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Lord said, Mai, to me, Asakta Manaha, mind attached, Partha, O son of Prutha, Yogam, self-realization, Yunjan, practicing, Mad Ashrayaha, in consciousness of me, Krishna consciousness, Asamshayam, without doubt, Samagram, completely, Mam, me, Yatha, how, Nyasasi, you can know, Tat, that, Shrunu, try to hear. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now hear, O son of Prutha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad-gitā, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described herein. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad-gitā, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit, soul capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. At the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahma Jyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth, because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge beyond any doubts. Different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahma Jyoti and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness, yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature and their manifestation with paraphernalia. One should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Shravanam is the first and most important. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Tashrunu, hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna, and therefore by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly, or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non-devotee upstart puffed up with academic education. In the Śrīmad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, is described in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto as follows. Shrunvatam sakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana radhyantastohi abhadrani vidnoti srutsatam nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki तदा रजस्तमो भावा कामलोभा देश्चे चेतयेतेरना विद्धम सितम सत्वे प्रसीदति एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवद भक्ति योगतः भगवत तत्व विज्ञानम भक्त संगस्य जायते विद्यते हृदय ग्रंथिश्छिद्यन्ते सर्व संशया क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट evatmanishvare. To hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad-gitā is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lust and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of Asamshayam Samagram, understanding the Supreme Absolute Truth, Personality of Godhead, 1.2.17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. Reading from Srila Gurudev's version, Shloka 1, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Maya Saktamana Partha Yogan Yunjan Madashraya Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatha Jnasasita Shrinu. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the all-operant Lord said, Partha, O son of Prutha, Shrinu, just hear, Yatha, how, Jnasasi, you know, you shall know, Mam, me, Samagram, in truth, Yunjan, by practicing, Tat, that, Yogam, Bhakti Yoga, Asakta Mana, with mind attached, Mai, to me, Mad Ashraya, and taking shelter of me, Asamshayam, free from doubt. Shri Bhagavan said, O Partha, now hear how you will know me in full by practicing Bhakti Yoga with your mind attached to me, taking full shelter of me alone, being free from all doubt. Sarvata Varshini. When will I attain the shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is an abode of eternal bliss and an ocean of mercy? Having given up the process of bhakti and mukti and taking shelter of the path of bhakti, when will I become qualified to taste the nectar of prema? This 7th chapter describes the vibhutis, opulences of Sri Krishna, who is the supreme object of worship. There is also a description of the 4 types of worshippers who perform bhajan to him and the 4 types of persons who do not. In the first 6 chapters describe the process of jnana and yoga, which both result in moksha and initially depend on nishkam karma to purify the heart. Now in the next set of 6 chapters there is a description of various types of bhakti yoga, beginning with bhakti mixed with karma, jnana and so on. These practices, shravan, etc. result in destination, types of liberation such as salukya, and are attained by the sadhakas of nishkam and sakam upasana. Most prominently, there is a description of the process of bhakti yoga which is independent of karma, jnana, etc. and grants that mukti in which one becomes a loving associate of Sri Krishna. As it is said in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 11 Canto 20th chapter verse number 32 to 33, Yat karma vir yat tapasa jnana vairagyascha. Simply by practicing bhakti yoga, my bhakta easily attains in full whatever auspicious results can be achieved by performing karma and prescribed duties, tapasya and other auspicious activities, and by cultivating jnana, vairagya, yoga and dana, charitable acts. Even if one desires the destination of Swarga, Moksha or Vaikuntha, one can attain them simply by Bhakti Yoga. It is clear from the statements that Bhakti is supremely independent. Bhakti is quite capable of granting the fruits of those processes even if one does not perform them. This Bhakti Yoga is easy to perform but difficult to attain. It is said in Shvetashvatara Upanishad 3.8, Tameva viditva ati mrityumeti. One can transcend death when one knows him, Parameshwara. This statement may cause one to doubt whether one can attain moksha merely by bhakti without having jnana. In response, Shri Bhagavan says, do not raise such an objection. Tameva, one can only transcend death by knowing Tat Padartha, Paramatma, through direct realization of him. One cannot attain freedom from death merely by knowing Tvam Padartha, the Jivatma, Prakriti, material nature, or any other entity. This is the import of the above statement in Shvetashvatara Upanishad. The only way to taste sugar candy is with the tongue, not with the eyes or ears. Similarly, bhakti is the only way to realize Parabrahma. Brahma is gunatit, beyond the gunas, so it is only possible to attain Brahma with the help of bhakti, as bhakti is also gunatit. Atma Gyan, knowledge of the self, which is free from identification with the body and so forth, is in Sattva Gun, so it cannot enable one to attain Brahma. Bhakti Bhaktam Ekaya Grahyam. I am attained only by Ekantiki Bhakti. Śrīmad Bhagavatam 11, Canto 14, Chapter verse 21. Bhaktamam Abhijanati. Gita 18.55. Only by Bhakti can the Jiva specifically know the Tattva of my Swarup and Sabhav. Shri Bhagavan says, I will establish my Savishesh specific nature by these two statements. Jnana and Yoga are well known as the means to attain Mukti. But this is only possible by the influence of Gunatit Bhakti, Bhakti predominated by Karma, Gyan, Tapasya and so on. Jnana and Yoga are well known as the means to attain Mukti, but this is only possible by the influence of Guni Bhuta Bhakti, Bhakti predominated by Karma, Gyan, Tapasya and so on. Jnana and Yoga are incapable of giving such a result when they are bereft of Bhakti. There are many statements that establish that Jnana and Yoga are ineffective without Bhakti. Moreover, in the above statement from Shvetashvatara Upanishad, the word Eva only has been used before the word Viditva, knowing. This means that it is not a fact that moksha is attained only by Jnana. It implies that it is possible to attain moksha by knowing Paramatma and sometimes even without knowing him. Thus, moksha is attained by Nirguna Paramatma Gyan, knowledge of Paramatma which is beyond the modes, generated from Bhakti, and sometimes moksha can be attained solely by Bhakti even without knowledge of Paramatma. This meaning is also conveyed by the Upanishad statement previously quoted. The tongue cannot taste the sweetness of mishri, rock sugar, if it is affected by the disease of jaundice, but by continuously consuming mishri, the defect of the tongue will be cured, and the taste of mishri will be relished again. There is no doubt about it. In Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10, Canto 47, Chapter, verse 59, Shri Uddhav says, Nectar always grants immortality, even if one tastes it without knowing its characteristics. Similarly, one may be ignorant of his Swarupa, but if he constantly performs bhajan of Sri Krishna, he is granted his desired result. It is also said of Sri Narayan in the Moksha Dharma. A person who has taken shelter of Sri Narayan does not need to perform the sadhan by which one attains the four goals of life, dharma, artha, kama and moksha. Indeed, he attains these goals even without practicing the sadhan. It is also said in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 10, Canto 28, Chapter, verse 32 and 33. Whatever is achieved by following this process of performing one's prescribed duty and austerities, my bhaktas attain easily by Bhakti Yoga. Moreover, it is said in Śrīmad Bhagavatam 6, Canto 16, Chapter, verse 44, simply by hearing your holy name once, even a low-born Chandal is liberated from the material world. These statements establish that one can only attain moksha by practicing bhakti. Furthermore, of all yogis, the best is he who performs bhajan with great faith within his heart. Gita 6.47. By this statement, Shri Bhagavan also indicates the special characteristics of his bhaktas whose minds are fixed in him and who have faith in his bhaktas. One may raise the question, What type of bhaktas are eligible to have Jnana and Vijnana of Sri Bhagavan? This shloka beginning with the words Maya Sakta and also the next shloka are spoken in response to this question. Śrīmad Bhagavatam 11 Canto 2nd chapter verse 42 states, just as a person has experience of satisfaction, nourishment and the removal of hunger all at the same time when he eats food, similarly one who performs bhajan of Sri Bhagavan simultaneously achieves devotion, realization of Bhagavan and detachment. It is noteworthy that one who eats only one mouthful of food experiences neither satisfaction nor nourishment. Satisfaction and nourishment are experienced only by one who eats a full meal. In the same way, although one starts to realize me from the initial stages of performing my bhajan, only one who has become situated on the platform asakti or whose mind is attached to my Sham Sundar Swarup, adorned with a yellow dress, realizes me in reality. You can know me only in this way. Please hear how one can have direct realization of me and what type of yoga grants this. One can become my Ananya Bhakta even without the help of Jnana, Karma, etc. by gradually becoming united with me and eventually taking complete shelter of me. In this shloka, the word asamshayam indicates a doubt about the possibility of attaining Nirvishesh Brahma, and Samagram indicates that the realization of this Swarupa, of that Swarupa, is incomplete. This will be stated later in Gita 12.5. Kleshodikataras tesham avyakta saktatetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham deha badhir vapyate. Those who fix their mind on Nirgun Brahma have to undergo great miseries. It may be difficult for an embodied jiva to attain that unmanifest nature. In other words, there is a doubt as to whether one can attain the Nirvishesh Brahma Swarup. However, in the present shloka by Sri Bhagavan is declaring, this doubt does not exist in relation to my bhakti yoga, because my devotees always realize me, Shri Krishna, Parabrahma Tattva. Moreover, Brahma, the worshipable object of the Jnani, is also my glorious effulgence. As I said to King Satyavrat in my Matsya avatar, by following my instructions, you will also come to know my glories, which are manifested in your heart by Shabda Brahma, the sole representation of Parabrahma. Śrīmad Bhagavatam 8 Canto 24 chapter verse 38. And in Gita 14.27 I have said, I am the shelter or basis of Nirvishesh Brahma. Therefore, knowledge of my Nirvishesh Swarup is not complete but only partial compared to knowledge of my Sri Krishna Sham Sundar Pitambar Dhari Swarup. Knowledge of Nirvishesh Brahma is asamagram, incomplete. Sarartha Varshini Prakashika Vritti. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur quotes Krishna as saying, O Partha, in the first 6 chapters, I explained Jnana and Ashtanga Yoga. These are paths to attain moksha and they require the help of Nishkam Karma Yoga to purify the heart. In the second set of 6 chapters, I am explaining Bhakti Yoga. Please listen with your mind steadfast in attachment to me. Having taken complete shelter of me by practicing Bhakti Yoga, you will attain thorough knowledge of me. There is no doubt about this. The knowledge of Nirvishesh Brahma is incomplete because it denies knowledge of the qualities of the personal feature of the absolute Savishesh Gyan. One attains the featureless Nirvishesh conception by negating material variety. My Nirvishesh Brahma nature manifests only as the object of this Nirvishesh conception, which is not Nirguna, because it merely transcends physical and mental knowledge and is therefore limited to knowledge in Sattva Guna. Bhakti is a function of Nirguna Vritti, transcendental nature. My form is also Nirguna and can only be seen by the transcendental Nirguna eyes of a jiva, which have been covered by the process of Nirguna Bhakti. Vanchakalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhyo cha paridanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.